Welcome, storytellers and filmmakers. I am absolutely stoked and honored that you guys have set aside time to really dive in to the beautiful intricacies that is music and sound. We are going to be talking about the why behind music and sound. Why should you care about this? Having a why in life is extremely important, knowing why you wake up every day and knowing why you do what you do. And so breaking down the intricacies of music and sound might not even be enough. We have to have a why. I'm not super good with color grading when it comes to my film. So if someone came up to me, filmmaker came up to me and said, hey, you should care more about color grading, my first word out of my mouth would be why. I feel like I'm okay. I get by. I spend an hour on my color grading and that's about it. And my clients don't really seem to mind. Why should I put more time into it? And I want you guys to ask that same question when it comes to music and sound. And I would love to put up a very strong argument why music and sound is so important. So let's get into it. When I think about us as the filmmaking industry, as the content creation and videography industry, what are we trying to do with our videos? We're trying to tell a compelling story. Maybe we're capturing a really important day for people, somebody's wedding. Maybe we're creating a documentary. Maybe we're working for a brand. What we're really doing is trying to get people's attention. And hopefully when we get people's attention, we want people to remember what they watched, whether that be a couple's most important day of their lives when they're getting married, or we want consumers to remember the brand that we're shooting for. We want our documentary to be seen because of a certain message that we want people to remember by. What we're really talking about is somebody's memory. So it's really important to actually understand kind of the scientific details when it comes to our memory. So let's break this down. There's two different types of memory. There's implicit memory and explicit memory. Explicit memory is very much the cold hard facts, names, dates, birthdays, what you ate for breakfast, the cold hard facts. And then we have implicit memory. Implicit memory is very much the emotion-based memory, feelings, how you felt in that moment, sadness, anger, happiness, joy, nostalgia. These feelings are all part of our implicit memory. And we also have 5 different senses to help us with our memory. Well, it actually turns out that our sense of sight is not as connected to our memory as much as touch, smell, and sound. So let me repeat that. Touch, smell, and sound is actually way more connected to our memory than our sense of sight. So us as videographers, we have 2 senses that we can play with. We have sight and we have sound. If our goal as filmmakers and storytellers is to really help our customers, clients, couples, whoever, really feel the message and story that we have created to trigger their implicit memory, an emotional response, what is arguably the most powerful tool that we have as humans that is connected to emotions, I would say that it's music. Oh my God! Wow! That's literally, dude, what? I think we can all remember a time in our lives where music or a song or a sound has really imprinted into our memory. I'll give you an example. My mom used to sing me Moon River when I was a kid, pretty much like as a lullaby right before I was gonna fall asleep. And every time I hear that song, it really takes me back to that feeling of just being still. We're so busy in this life and there's very little time just to be still. And really when I hear that song, I'm just like, I feel relaxed. I'm taken back to the emotion of what I felt. I remember when I was 7 years old and I took my first skiing trip with my family, and I just remember listening to the new Fall Out Boy album with my brother and just like jamming out to that. And every time I hear that Fall Out Boy album, I am taken back to the emotions of that feeling of like the adrenaline of going skiing for the first time with my family. And you know, couples have songs too. It's such a weird thing for like lovers to say, oh, this is our song, you know. Like, the reason we do that is because a song is connected to a memory, an emotional implicit memory that they have together. There's a reason that us as humans say these things, is because music is deeply connected to us. Yeah, I mean, me and my wife have songs together. I Like Me Better by Love. I mean, we always used to listen to that, and we used to sing that together constantly. And that song just became like a reoccurring theme in our relationship. And every time I hear that song, I'm just reminded of the love that I have for my wife. I mean, we've covered this song, we've sang it together. One of my great friends sang this song at our proposal. What a beautiful, beautiful memory. That song really just brings me back to the feeling of just being best friends with my wife, you know. And man, Sarah walking down the aisle to Saturn by Sleeping at Last. I'm pretty sure if I actually like sat down, closed my eyes, and listened to this song fully, I would probably start bawling. I would probably start completely crying, because it's an undescribable feeling of watching my wife walk down the aisle. How do you describe that feeling? You don't. You listen to music, and that music is almost the best way for you to describe that feeling and that memory. It's incredible what music actually does to us as humans. There's this incredible documentary called Alive Inside that really illustrates the relationship between music and implicit memory. If you haven't seen the documentary, go watch it. It's unreal. But there's this specific scene that gets me every time. We're introduced to Henry, who suffers from dementia and Alzheimer's. Just a very cruel disease that rips humans from their memory. And mainly those two diseases affect the explicit memory, the factual based memory, way before it starts to affect the implicit memory. So the scene starts off, Henry, he just looks absolutely defeated. His head is down. You know, you can tell by his body language, his shoulders are down too. He looks sad and defeated. He doesn't know where he is. He is confused. He can hardly form a sentence. And his daughter is actually trying to speak with him, and he doesn't even recognize who his daughter is with his sense of sight. So the nurse actually comes up and puts headphones on Henry and starts playing music from Henry's life. Man, you start to see the life go back into Henry. I mean, he starts sitting up straight. His eyes get really big, and he just starts flowing and singing and just feeling the music. It's just such a beautiful moment. He's singing, he's dancing, he's smiling. The nurse actually then takes off the headphones and starts asking Henry about his life, and he is able to answer incomplete sentences with extreme detail, when before the music he couldn't even form a sentence at all. They ask him what his favorite song is, and it's like this Christmas song, and he sings it.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
I guess, Cab Calloway was my number one band guy I liked. The little holy, the holly, the hilly, the woolly, the milly, the holly, the owl.
Yeah, what's your favorite Cab Calloway song?
I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me.
So in some sense, Henry is restored to himself. He has remembered who he is, and he's reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
Now, that is the power of music, and really that should be our why. We should understand when we are talking about music, when we are implementing music, when we are taking more time to be more intentional with our musical storytelling, which we'll get into later videos. I want us to think about the actual power of music. This is a very spiritual and mystical thing that is in our world that completely affects us in a very emotional way. Music will go past any logic and go straight to the heart. And so, yes, I'm about to say something absolutely blasphemous, and I can already hear the people who care a lot about color correction and, whatever. Music, sound, and audio is more important than your visuals. Okay, I said it. This might come back to haunt me, but I feel like this is a pretty strong argument of why that is. The second point I want to make, and then I'm so excited for you to get into the other videos, is you are not just a videographer and filmmaker. Okay, I want to make this very clear. The industry refers to us as videographer or filmmaker, which is okay. Like, I get it, it's totally fine. But videographer, filmmaker kind of entails that we capture visuals, you shoot video, which, yes, that is what we do, but I mean, as important, or even more important, I would say, is you are also dealing with music. You are dealing with audio. You are dealing with sound. So you are a sound designer. You are a music producer. You are an audio engineer. I want you to start implementing and almost like having a mindset shift of that is what you are too. Yes, this industry refers to us as video. Yes, sure, we capture visuals, but really think you are also a musical storyteller.